Hello everyone, good morning. Today is 12th of September and I welcome you all to the Hindu newspaper analysis discussion. So guys, in the today's video, we are going to take the entire analysis of the Hindu newspaper. We will take all the articles along with the background as well as way forward. And I would also like to tell you that you can download explainer notes of this session from our Telegram channel. Link for Telegram is given in the description box in YouTube. Now, first of all, let's take overview of entire newspaper and let's understand that what are the important articles in today's newspaper. Now, here guys, we have the Delhi edition of Hindu newspaper, and here we can see that on first page, here we have this article. CBI does not require permission to probe pre 2004 cases too. We'll take this particular article as what it is talking about the examination. Then guys, further moving on, launch of West Asia Economic Corridor is a historic step, Prime Minister. Now, this particular article is talking about the India Middle East Europe Economic Corridor project. Now, guys, one particular thing is that there is nothing much contained in this particular article. This article is just talking about this project. Yesterday, I have discussed entire G20's outcomes. What are the most important outcomes of G20, including this India, Middle East, Europe Economic Corridor, biofuel alliance, everything I have discussed. If you have not seen that particular video, I will insist that please do see that video for developing the holistic understanding on entire outcomes of this G20. Okay, then further moving on, we have these advertisements, etc. Nothing much important is given. Then in city section, we have the regional issues. Okay, regional issues are there. Fine, advertisements and all such kind of things are there. So guys, largely political articles, advertisements, etc. are there. Again, much important articles are not contained in regional section. So we will be moving on and directly will come to editorial section. Now, as we talk about editorial section, so here we have article ridding India of food security. Now, ridding India of food security will take this particular article for GS paper number 3. Then on side, this article is talking about India's movement. So article says that before G20 summit, there were a lot of speculations that whether joint consensus will be reached or not, how this particular meet will unfold given the rivalries, conflicts between West and Russia, China. However, it has been seen that the consensus declaration was achieved and a lot of big things happened. Okay. Then further moving on, the signal from this made in China smartphone story. Now, guys, what this particular article is talking about. Okay. So basically, what has happened, China has really recently unveiled Mate 60 Pro, which houses Kirin 9000 processor. Okay, so this particular chipset it is talking about. So it fine. Now the entire article is talking about this particular chipset, how this particular chipset is made, and all such kind of things. Now understand this particular thing, guys, that for UPSC examination, such kind of questions are not coming. That they will give that okay, this model of chip was recently launched in the market. What are the features of that model? We are not reading core computer science, so I'll not advise you to go and read this particular article. UPSC relevant substance, fine. UPSC relevant dimension is not there. Okay. Then further moving on in this particular direction, Hindus have to give Sanatan Dharma profundity. Okay, so guys, recently there was an incident that happened where one of a political leader made a statement made a statement on Sanatan Dharma, and since there are a lot of controversies which have erupted out of that. Now it is on that particular line, nothing much important for exam point of view. If you have interest, you can read it, but for exam, academic substance is not there, so I will not advise you to go in that detail. Then further moving on, we come to text and context. Okay, before that, why simultaneous election would militate against federalism? So guys, we have seen this particular thing, and yesterday also exactly same article came. What are simultaneous elections? Simultaneous election when the elections for Lok Sabha as well as state legislative assembly will be conducted together. So recently government has constituted a committee under the former president to see the feasibility of simultaneous election. First election 1951-52 that happened in India, it was a simultaneous election. Both Lok Sabha and state legislative assembly election were conducted together. But post 1960s, this cycle got disturbed. And now every year, one or the other state is having election, and then every 5 year, Lok Sabha has an election. So every year, elections are going on. Now, the article says that simultaneous election, fine, it has a lot of problems, because understand this particular thing, that guys, let me explain you. Even yesterday this particular article has come. Now, first of all, it is provided that when election are there, at least government reaches to public. If every year election are there, at least the government is coming out with public, is reaching to public, is basically trying to ensure that public grievances should not inflate above a particular point. Secondly, it is provided that when it is provided that, okay, even if you, let's say, started the simultaneous election, how you will start that? Because, for example, if you want to start simultaneous election in 2024, now, many assemblies, their election happened in 2022 only. So, assembly where election happened in 2022, their term will go till 2027. And you want to conduct election 2024, what you will do? You will cut short their 3 year tenure. Okay. Is it feasible? Second thing is that what happens if next time government falls in a particular state? Again, that cycle will get disturbed. Okay. So, basically, it is provided that it is not feasible. Now, here guys, basically it is providing that here, if simultaneous elections have to be contained, now what this table is providing, the table shows when the term of each state assembly ends and the number of months that would be curtailed if election are to be held in June 24. So basically, Karnataka, the government tenure of state assembly will end in 28 March 20, May 28, March 28, March 28, March 28, January 28, December 27. Okay, 47 months are to be curtailed. 45 months session, for 45 months of their tenure are to be curtailed. So here just they have given the data that every state, their assembly is going to end somewhere 27, 28, 26. So you have to curtail their term. How many terms are to be curtailed? That data has been given. This table shows the number of Lok Sabha seat. Okay, and the seats, ULBs, representatives from every state. No need to go too much in this particular data. Okay. Then coming to text and context section on China's economic slowdown. We'll take this particular article in detail. A full page article is there. Then next is Gresham's law. What happens when government fixes currency exchange rates? We'll take this particular article also for the examination. Then further moving on, army requested team to visit Manipur. Okay, several hill villages in Manipur added to Valley district. So guys, we have seen that more than 3 months have happened and this Manipur crisis is going on, and on that particular line the articles have come. However, nothing much important to go in this particular article. Then further moving on, after that, again in this particular declaration reaffirms G20 is a body for economic ties, not geopolitics, says China. Okay, so basically, what has happened, guys? Uh, as this G20 meeting was going on, fine, you know this particular thing that the China and Russia, they had a speculation that the G20 might be used against the Chinese interest. But India very craftily designed the declaration, designed the New Delhi declaration that was issued in G20, and there no name of Russia, China, or any country has been taken. It has been said that aggression is bad and every country should keep it in mind. So, for that particular thing, it has been said that such a thing shows that it is a body for economic ties. Okay. Then further moving on, guys, every such statement, fine, is not needed to be noted down in your notebook. Just you need to know these things. Then we have these standards, etc. Here we have an article, Kota Police Coaching Centers join hand to help students address mental health issues. We'll take this particular article for the examination. Okay. Survey reveals only 6% of those above 50 took any adult vaccine. Any adult vaccine. So basically, guys, here a survey has been conducted. A survey has been conducted by the Association of Physicians of India. The survey has been conducted by Association of Physicians in India and Ipsos. Now, according to this particular survey, it has been provided that only 16% of the people who are above 50 years of age, they have took the adult vaccines, which is alarmingly the low number. Okay. Then further moving on in world page, US, Vietnam warns against threat in South China Sea. So guys, South China Sea, every other day one article will come. On Russia, Ukraine, every day article will come. Now, South China Sea is South China Sea has come lot in the news. Why? Because China claims virtually entire South China Sea as their sovereign region. Recently, China even released their new map, and in that new map, even Arunachal Pradesh's area are shown as the part of China. Aksai Chin is shown as the part of China, and entire South China Sea has been shown as the part of China. And China recently has also sent their vessels in South China Sea. And because of that particular thing, Philippines, Vietnam, all these countries have a lot of problem. So they have warned against the threats going on in South China Sea. Kim Jong Un will visit Russia, setting the stage for a meeting with Putin. Guys, if you are following newspaper analysis regularly, you will be able to make out the patterns. Few days back, we have taken one particular article where we have seen this thing, that there is a possibility that North Korea will supply weaponry to Russia. Now, this might be in that particular line. Okay. Then further moving on, dystopian future already here. UN official says of climate change. What is the meaning of dystopian? Dystopian future. What is this dystopian future? So guys, understand this particular thing, that as we talk about the future, there are often two narratives of a future, that a how future would look like. One is that in future we will have flying cars, people will be living in space colonies, school children will be going to school in Mars, the climate will be improved, technologies, good technologies will come. That is a type of a future. But on another hand, we see this particular thing, that a future where robots have taken over, climate change has become a very big problem. Okay, there is devastation everywhere. So that negative perception of future, it is called as the dystopian future, negative type, negative perception of the future. Now it is being said that this dystopian future is already here. Why? Because of the climate change. Why? Because of the climate change. Okay. Then further moving on, India to explore different listing of businesses on LSE. Okay, so LSE stands for the London Stock Exchange. So in London Stock Exchange, India is exploring that whether Indian corporates can be listed there. Then we have the corporate trends, etc. And after that, we have the sports page. So this is, guys, the overview of entire newspaper. And now let's discuss all the relevant articles which are important for our examination one by one in the detail. Okay, fine. Okay, here I can see one particular comment. Let's take it. Okay. So here we have one comment. Sir, can you explain the difference between e-rupee and UPI? See, what is UPI first of all? UPI stands for Unified Payment Interface. UPI is a platform which has been launched by NPCI, National Payment Corporation of India. UPI facilitates the transfers of money just by using your mobile number or your virtual UPI ID. So just if you know my mobile number, I know your mobile number, I can send you money, you can send me money. Also, money could be sent by the virtual private address. Okay. So UPI is a platform for transactions. Okay. What is e-rupee? E-rupee is the digital currency that India has come out with. For example, you have 10 rupee note, physical note. So physical currency's counterpart is e-rupee. Okay, fine. Moving on. Moving on. Let's take the articles in detail. Every class we start with a GS quotation. So we'll take quotation today from Coffee and Naan. Coffee and Naan says, knowledge is power. Information is liberating. Education is the premise of progress in every society, in every family. Okay. What is real power? Real power is not the hard power. Real power is not the power of guns. Okay. It is even said that a pen is mightier than the sword. A pen is mightier than the sword. So real power is knowledge, and real liberation is in information. And education is premise. Education is precursor for progress in every society, every family. So the first focus, primary focus, needs to be given on education first. Fine. You can use this particular quotation with respect to GS paper number 2, answers related to education, and even essay on education. You can use this particular thing. Fine. Also GS paper number 4, ethics. GS paper number 4, ethics. In topic number 1, human and interface, there is one topic of role of educational institution in inculcating value. There you can provide that education as a whole is a premise for foundation building, value building. Okay, moving on, and let's take first article for today. So, first article that we have here is that CBI does not require permission to probe pre-2014 cases to Supreme Court. Now, this particular article will see with respect to GS paper number 2 issues related to polity as well as issues related to institutions. Okay, polity and institutions. Now, first of all, we will take some basic background information. And once we understand the basic information, we will be going on in detail. We'll be going on in detail. So basically, guys, when we talk about CBI, okay, CBI, fine, Central Bureau of Investigation. So CBI is the institution under the government of India, which is specifically responsible for investigating the matters of corruption. Okay, matters of corruption. It can also investigate economic offenses and particular other cases. Also, CBI can investigate which are referred to it by the government. Okay. Now, the cases that CBI can take are largely the cases that are referred by the central government. It can also take up the cases in the state government. Okay, many I told you other cases also it can take up. So it can also take up the cases in the state government after the consent of the concerned state. Now, when we talk about the CBI, guys, CBI as an institution was established way back in 1940s, but as of now the CBI, its mandate comes from Delhi. Right now, CBI's legal mandate, CBI's legal framework comes from Delhi Special Police Establishment Act 2003. Earlier, there was Delhi Special Police Establishment Act 1946. Then it got replaced by 2003 Act. So right now, CBI's legal framework, CBI's legal framework comes from Delhi Special Police Establishment Act. Okay. Now, when we talk about CBI, CBI is headed by a director, and director, who is a director? Director is typically an IPS officer of the rank of Director General of Police, DGP. Okay. So these are some of the basic information about CBI. You will not find it in the article because article doesn't starts with that. Now, going in this particular thing. So basically, guys, there is one particular provision of DSPE Act, Delhi Special Police Act, which is being discussed in this particular article. What is that particular provision? So this provision is section 6A of Delhi Special Police Act. Fine, Delhi Special Police Establishment Act. Now, what is this section 6A? So basically, guys, the section 6A, it provided a kind of an immunity to the officers who are above the rank of joint secretary. Okay, now what kind of immunity is to be provided? So basically, the officers who are above the rank of joint secretary, if any case has to be opened against them, if any investigation has to be done against them, let's say investigation in a corruption charge, if it has to be done against them, then there was a prior sanction that was needed. There was a prior sanction that is needed. Means that CBI cannot directly do even the preliminary inquiry against the officers above the joint secretary. Permission is to be taken, sanction is to be taken. Now you know this particular thing that many number of times the corruption is systemic. Fine, corruption is systemic. Okay, so this particular thing was leading to problem in investigations and many a cases where even the corruption charges have been proved, the officers, they went to court and said that okay, corruption charges are proved, but prior permission was not taken. So here it is happening that you are the one who had done a corruption and we need to take a permission for that thing also. So it was not making a lot of sense. So in 2014, Supreme Court gave a ruling on this section 6A of DSPE Act. Now, what was the ruling? Supreme Court provided this thing that no prior sanction, no prior permission will be taken up. CBI can directly carry inquiry against any officer, no prior permission will be needed. This ruling came in 2014. And why permission is not to be taken? Because it is going against, because it is going against the right to equality under Article 14 of Constitution. Why? Because you say permission is to be taken, Permission is to be taken for the officers who are above the rank of joint secretary, who are above the rank of joint secretary. So it is going against the equality. If a person has done a corruption, fine, corruption is is unacceptable, done by a low level officer, done by officer of joint secretary level. Okay, so therefore no permission will be needed. This was ruled in 2014. Okay, now what Supreme Court has come now? Question came that what about the cases before 2014? Now you know that when DSPE Act came, DSPE Act came in 2003. DSPE Act came in 2003. When the ruling came in 2014. Okay, after 2014, permission will not be taken. But what is between 2003 to 2014? So now Supreme Court has come out with a ruling and had provided that this 2014 ruling will be applicable from retrospective effect. Means after 2003, any case where there is a corruption, okay, CBI can take up the investigation without taking the prior permission, and officer cannot go to court saying permission was not taken. So this is something that has happened. Now Supreme Court provided this thing that corruption is the biggest enemy of the nation, and tracking down this corruption is most important. And even Prevention of Corruption Act 1988 provides the crackdown on corruption that happens to be the most important. Now, what is the name of this particular 2014 judgment in which this particular ruling was made? So it was Dr. Subramaniam Swamy case of 2014. So guys, now if you have understood it, fine, then you can say that it is a one line concept, that this 2014 Subramaniam Swamy's ruling has been extended. It has been given a retrospective effect. Okay, this is something. Retrospective effect means that something will be applicable from back date. Which back date? 2003 onwards. So I hope guys that you have understood this. Okay, moving on to next article. Moving on to next article. Gresham's law. What happens when government fix currency exchange rates? Fine. Now this particular article will see with respect to GS paper number 3 economy, as well as in prelims examination. In economy questions where they are asking some keyword, there also this particular article will be important. Now what article is actually talking about? Article is talking about Gresham's law. Now very subtly and in a very simple language we'll try to understand what this is all about, because article looks little bit technical, but we'll try to understand it in a very simple terms. First of all, Gresham laws says this thing, that bad money drives out good money. Bad money drives out good money. What is the meaning of this bad money drives out good money? Let me give you example. So when we talk about Gresham law, in earlier times, you know this particular thing, that metal currency was majorly used in the earlier times. Now these metal currencies often were made up of expensive metal. For example, these currencies were often made up of silver. Okay, they were made up of bronze. Okay, they were made up of copper, and in some cases even these currencies were mixed with, were had some element of gold also. Now guys, what actually happened over the period of time, governments, what they have done, they have carried kind of debasement in currencies. What is the meaning of this word debasement? Now let me give you one very basic example. Suppose there is 1 rupee coin. Let's say there is 1 rupee coin. Let's go 150 years back. 1 rupee coin. And let's say this 1 rupee coin was made up of silver. It was made up of silver. And let's say in 1 rupee coin, there was a 10-gram silver that was used. 1 rupee coin, 10-gram silver that will be used. Basic understanding. Over a period of time, what will happen? Economy will expand. Requirement of more money will be there. Okay, so government has to mint more and more money. Now, obviously, government will not have infinite source of silver. It has some limited silver. So government cannot infinitely mint silver coins, and that too, every silver coin having 10 gram of silver. So what will happen after some years? Government will try that, okay, in 1 rupee coin, We'll not put now 10 gram silver. We will just put 5 gram silver. We'll just put 5 gram silver. Okay. Now, guys, when you talk about silver in itself as a commodity has other value also. For example, if I give you 100 silver coins, what you can do? You can use that particular coin like that. Okay. For usual transaction, you can use that coin, or you can melt those 100 silver coins, can take silver out of that, can make some another item of silver, and then can sell that item. Okay. So basically, guys, what is happening as metal content is reducing? Metal content is reducing. What people did? People started holding. What people did? People started holding the coins which have more metal content. They will hold that coins which have more metal content. And over a period of time, what will happen? These silver coins which were heavy, okay, these coins will go out of circulation. Why? People will not use these particular coins in transaction. They will keep these coins with themselves, okay, and might think that, okay, we'll melt these coins, we'll take out a silver and we'll sell silver. Even that will be expensive from the face value of that coin. Okay. So people started doing this thing. So here, what is saying now? See, when these, so they say bad money drives out good money. Bad money drives out good money. So what is bad money? What is good money? Basically, these cheap made coins that have come, which have inferior metal content, or which have low metal content, this is being called as bad money. As when they will be introduced, good money goes out. Good money means those heavy coins which have expensive metal, they will go out of circulation. People will keep them. Okay, people will not take out them in transaction, and everybody will transact in these new coins that have come. So bad money drives out good money. Okay. Now this article is talking about application of Gresham law in article of Gresham law in exchange rate. Article is talking about Gresham law in exchange rate. Now, what is the application of Gresham law in exchange rate? Let's understand this particular thing. So you need to keep it in mind that bad money drives out good money. So here what will happen? Bad currency will drive out good currency. Now, what is bad currency? What is good currency? Let's understand that. So basically, guys, often what happens, some now first of all, basically in normal times, basically in when we talk about the normal times, how the currency exchange, or how the currency exchange rate is determined. Currency exchange rate is determined on the basis of demand and supply. On the basis of demand and supply. Suppose there are two currencies. Suppose there are two currency. Let's say one is a dollar and other is rupee. There are two currencies. Let's say there is a dollar and there is a rupee. Now, if dollars demand will increase, what will happen? Dollars value will go up. If rupees demand is increased, rupees value will go up. Okay, and at the same time, supply also plays an important role. So on the basis of demand and supply, any currency's value will be determined. Okay. Now, basically, guys, sometimes what happens, government interferes. Government interferes. And sometimes the exchange rate of two currencies will not be left open to demand and supply forces. Rather, the exchange rate will be fixed by the government. Will be fixed by the government. And what happens, there is sometimes government keeps the prices fixed and makes certain currencies as undervalued currency. Certain currencies as undervalued currency. Now, what is the meaning of undervalued currency? Undervalued currencies means it is that currency. It is that currency whose price has, let's say, been capped at 100. But if you don't interfere and if you allow demand and supply forces to take over, this particular currency's valuation might go to 200. But right now, government has undervalued it. Okay, so government sometimes by their interference undervalues some currency. Okay. Now, basically, guys, what is happening? Now, we will understand this particular thing in the context of Sri Lanka. In the context of Sri Lanka, because of that only article has come in news. So recently what happened? Economic crisis came in Sri Lanka. You all know this particular thing. And in this particular economic crisis, what happened? Sri Lanka's central bank, Sri Lanka's RBI, what they did, they fixed the exchange rate between US dollar and between Sri Lankan rupee. Okay. Now you see this particular thing, guys, that as Sri Lankan economy is going very bad, what will they happen? They will fix the price of Sri Lankan rupee vis-a-vis dollar. What they did, Sri Lankan central bank said this particular thing, that the price of the US dollar in terms of Sri Lankan rupee should not rise beyond 200 rupees per dollar. Let's say, just to give you a rough idea, if in India, $1, if in India, $1, if in India, $1 is equal to 80 rupees, in Sri Lankan, they said that $1 should not rise above 200 Sri Lankan rupee. Okay, so this is the thing that they have fixed. But guys, actually, if we see, then the real value of dollar is actually more than 200 Sri Lankan rupee. If you just leave demand and supply forces to do its work, maybe $1 will sell at, maybe $1 will sell at 400 Sri Lankan rupee. $1 will sell at, let's say, 800 Sri Lankan rupee if you don't interfere. But what government has done? Government has fixed this particular price to maximum 200 Sri Lankan rupee. And in fact, people were banned from paying more than 200 Sri Lankan rupee for the dollar. So you see this thing. You see this thing. Now, guys, you tell me which currency is now undervalued here. Which currency is now undervalued here? Okay, guys, who are watching the video live right now, please write in the comment box and tell me which currency is undervalued here. Only when you'll reply, I'll move forward. Yes, please reply fast. Which currency is undervalued here? Okay, yes, please reply which currency is undervalued here in this particular case. Okay, so in this particular case, what is the issue? In this particular case, actually, dollar is undervalued currency. Dollar is undervalued currency. Why? Because you are saying that dollar cannot be sold above 200 rupees. Maximum rate at which the dollar can be sold is 200. You are saying this particular thing. But actually, if you leave dollar free, it might go to, let's say, 400. It might go to 400, but you have restricted it to 200. So dollar is undervalued currency. So dollar is actually more expensive. Okay. So dollar becomes this good money, as you have seen in the example of the metal coins. So what people started doing? People started, or everybody who has dollar, they will not give dollar out. Why? Because they know this thing that today if I give dollar out, I will get only 200 Sri Lankan rupee. Let's keep this dollar in my saving. Tomorrow, or let's say I will go to India, there I'll exchange my dollar, there I'll get more. Okay, so they will not give out the dollar, and what will happen? Dollar will go out of circulation. And this exactly the same thing happened. Dollar went out of circulation from Sri Lanka. Okay, so bad money drives out good money. What is bad money? Sri Lankan rupee, because its value was fixed at an artificial level. Okay, so this is something that has happened in this particular direction. Fine. Guys, I hope that you have understood. Here one paragraph from where this name Gresham's law come. So Gresham's law name come from the English financier Thomas Gresham, who advised English monarchy on financial matter, and he came out with this particular principle. Okay. Then moving on to the next article on China's economic slowdown. On China's economic slowdown. Okay. Now this particular article, guys, we'll see with respect to GS paper number 3, economy, not Indian economy, not Indian economy, as well as GS paper number 2, international affairs, GS paper number 2, issues going on in India's neighborhood, issues going on in India's neighborhood. Now, guys, if you remember, few days back also a similar article actually came in Hindu newspaper, which was also talking about the economic crisis going on in China. Let's take this article, what article is actually talking about. Now, basically, guys, when we talk about China, China has grown at double-digit growth rate after 1980s, and now China's economy is slowing down. So basically, article will see that how we can know China's economy is slowing down, what are the reasons behind this particular slowdown, and what government of China is doing for that particular thing. Now, first of all, guys, understand a few basic things. So basically, in 1978, in 1978, China went for their liberalization reforms. They went for their liberalization reforms. And in 1978, open door policy was announced by China. And as per that open door policy, private investment came in China, private enterprises came in China, and China started to grow. And what happened? What happened? For multiple years, for multiple years, China grew at double digit growth rate. China grew at a double digit growth rate. Okay. And this particular double digit growth that China has seen, it has stunned the entire world. It has stunned the entire world. But now China's GDP growth rate, it is slowing down. Okay. Just a minute. Fine. So now China's growth rate is slowing down. Now, how China, first of all, growth is slowing down? Let's see this particular thing. So, China's GDP, it grew just by 0.8% in the second quarter. Okay. So, basically, China's economy is now just growing at 0.8%. Okay. Now, China was registering double digit growth rate, but in that 0.8% growth of a particular quarter, it is way low. What was the Chinese standards were? After that, the China is now slipping in the deflation, and there the deflation. Now, deflation is opposite of inflation. Deflation is opposite of inflation. Now, if we see China's inflation, it is just 0.3%. So it points that China is going towards deflation. Now, many of you guys might have this particular question, that we know inflation is bad. Why inflation is bad? Because in inflation, prices increase very highly, and because of that price rise, inflation is bad. But is deflation also bad? Deflation technically means that the price rise is not happening, or rather prices, rather than increasing, prices are going down. That is deflation. So why deflation is bad? Prices are going down, goods are becoming cheap. Why it is bad? It is bad from business point of view. It is bad from business point of view. How? You see, suppose I am a manufacturer and I manufacture pen. I was selling this particular pen at 10 rupees 1 year back. Okay. Today, what has happened? The cost, the price of this particular pen, it has come to 9 rupees. Last year, I am selling this pen 10 rupees. Today, it has come to 9 rupees. What I will do? I need to cut down my cost. How I will cut down my cost? I will remove some people. These people will then become unemployed. And as these people will become unemployed, what will happen? They will not be able to demand. They will not demand my pen. Fine. What will happen? My pen price will go even more down. I will remove even more people to cut down the cost. They will then not be able to consume because they are not getting salary. They will also not demand my pen. Again, price will go down. So from business point of view, always it is said that a marginal inflation is better for business rather than the deflation, because when prices are going down, what is the incentive with the manufacturer to increase production? What is incentive with the manufacturer to establish more plants? Okay. So deflation is never appreciable from the business point of view. And then when we talk about unemployment in China, so unemployment has also hit around 21%, which is very high. So because of all these particular things, China is trying to come out with some reforms. What China is doing? China is coming out with the additional cuts in lending rate. Lending rates are being cut down so that people borrow money, spend that particular money, use that money for opening up a new business expansion. So lending cuts they are doing. Okay, fine. Also also tax cuts, lending cuts are coming, tax cuts are coming. Chinese government is also planned a lot of investment. This is often called as the fiscal stimulus that China is planning to give. Now a big question comes, a $1 million question comes, that how China reached at this particular place. So basically, guys, this de-acceleration of Chinese economy, it started post COVID. Now you might be knowing that China has the zero COVID policy. where even few cases if came, they used to go in complete lockdown. And because of this zero COVID policy, 20 to 2022, 2 years, economy in China was actually suspended because of their zero COVID policy. Now they actually started opening their economy in 2022, and in 2022 they were expecting that the pent up demand, okay, it will come out and our economy will grow. But after 2022, when they opened up their economy was not able to come out of the crisis of 2020. Now, why? Because China's problem was actually more deep rooted. How China's problem are more deep rooted? Now, if you remember, I told you in 1978, China came out with the open door policy, and since then, they started to focus on economic growth. Now, from the very start, China's focus or China's growth did not came from China did China largely focused on increasing supply. Their growth came from supply, not from demand. Now, what is the meaning of this supply and demand? Now, see this particular thing, guys. In an economy, in an economy, let's say there are 100 people. In an economy, let's say there are 100 people, and these 100 people are demanding goods of 200 rupees. They are demanding goods of 200 rupees. So 200 rupees is aggregate demand in an economy. I am explaining you in very simple words. Okay. Okay, will not go in technicality. So 100 people are there in an economy. Total they are demanding 200 rupees of goods. So aggregate demand is 200 rupees. Now, if they are demanding if they are demanding 200 rupees of goods, obviously there are factories which are making these goods and supplying these goods. Okay, so 200 rupees goods are being demanded, industries are supplying 200 rupees of goods, and this country is going on. Now what we need to do, we need to increase this particular demand in the long run. For example, these people who are demanding 200 rupees of goods, let's do something that they demand 400 rupees of goods. If they will demand 400 rupees of goods, supply is also to be increased from 200 to 400. Supply is also to be increased from 200 to 400. And how supply will be increased? Basically, these people who are supplying, they will hire more people, they will create employment, they will procure more machinery, land, will establish more factories, industries. Fine. And when they are establishing factories, industry, hiring more people, creating employment, additional money will go in economy. These people who are demanding 400 rupees goods, they will then demand 800 rupees goods. Then again they will have to increase more supply, they will hire even more people. So what will happen? A virtuous cycle will start. Virtuous cycle, there are two words, virtuous cycle and vicious cycle. Virtuous cycle is that one good thing drives other. Vicious cycle, one bad thing drives other bad thing. Example of vicious cycle: population and poverty. Population drives poverty, poverty drives population. Population drives poverty, poverty drives population. So this virtuous cycle will begin. So basically, guys, understand this particular thing, that if you want to improve your economic condition, you need to increase demand. How to increase demand? One way is that increase income of people. If people's income will increase, automatically they will demand more goods. So increasing demand is always very much crucial. Rather than that, China focused on increasing supply. China did other way around. What China did? China's policy, China's growth largely focused on increasing on supply. What does it mean, increasing on supply? I am confused. It simply means what China did. China started investing in excess supply. China started building, China started doing manufacturing. Even there are not people who are going to consume these goods, but they started developing industries, they started increasing supply. Now a question will come that, okay, if there is nobody to consume, where those goods will come and how the money will come? Number one, how money will come? So money largely came by investment. Money largely came by investment to increase this supply. How money came by investment? First investment was done by government. First investment was done by government. Government did a lot of investment in making the industrial base. And as government is doing investment, foreign investment will now come. Foreign FDI will come. Foreign investors will come in China and they will be investing. Government is also investing, meaning foreign investors are also investing. And what is happening in the country? They have developed industrial base which are producing a lot of goods. Now, where these goods will go? These goods will be exported to other countries. These goods will be exported to India, USA, Japan, every country in the world, and China will become the factory of the world. So China is called as the factory of the world. So this is the reason that China became the factory of the world. They focused on supply. Now they did not focused on increasing the demand within their country. Why? Because now see this particular thing, that if they have focused on ensuring that people's incomes are increased, internal demand is increased. So whatever they are making internally, it will get consumed, and whatever they will be exporting, it will be additional. So they did not focus on demand, rather they focused on supply, and that was fueled by investment, first government investment and then private investment. So China followed investment driven development model. Now every country depends on that, but China depended huge on that. Now what happened? This was going on, and COVID pandemic came. China started rivalry with the America, and what happened? China plus one, decoupling, de-risking it start. Now, because of the China's rivalry, China's confrontation with the West, West now are saying that we will not procure goods from China. India even started Atmanirbhar Bharat Abhiyan. We have provided that will not trade with the China. So now countries are boycotting China. And now you see China, let's say China has excess capacity for supply. Chinese people cannot give that demand. Outside world is boycotting China. Where China will go? So in China, slowdown started to come. And then largely responsible is China's real estate sector. Now, guys, when we talk about China's real estate sector, there is a kind of a cacophony that has happened in China's real estate sector. How China's real estate sector is also a culprit. First of all, guys, what happened? Post 1980s, excess growth came in China. And as excess growth came in China, what happened? Real estate developers, they started to make housing projects, commercial projects, etc. Now, how they started making the housing projects? They took loans, they took loans, even they took money from the future buyers. Even they took money from the future buyers. How money they took from the future buyers? In India also, for example, a society is being launched by DLF. Now that society will be, possession of the society will be given after 4 years, but they will take you money, pre-booking. That okay, you give 25%, will give you some discount, and after 4 years our project will be completed, then we'll give you the house. So in the same way in China also, from the future buyers, these developers took money, by loan they took money, and they started developing real estate, they started developing housing colonies, commercial projects, etc. And what happened, guys? In real estate also there was a boom that came. Fine. Now what? Land, there is no fair price of land. Price of land is what you are willing to give, that is the price of land. Okay. So what happened? Growth was going on in China, and what happened? Real estate developers were developing the land projects. The prices started going up. Now when prices are going up, okay, people will think that okay, there is better prospect of investing in real estate. Even more people will demand real estate, more prices will go up. People think okay, there's a growth, more people will demand, more prices will go up. And what will happen? Real estate developers also, they will get an indication that there is so much of demand, they will take even more loans. They will even take more loans, take more money from buyer, and will not invest that money in this upcoming project. Even in the future project, they will invest the money. So what happened? China has created excess inventory in construction also. There are millions of houses that have been constructed and nobody is there to take possession. There are millions of commercial properties that have been constructed and nobody is there to take the possession. So excessive inventory in real estate has been created. And guys, when we talk about people, people's wealth is largely invested in real estate. In India also, people's wealth is largely in gold or in FD or in real estate. In China, 70% of the household wealth is in the property, and now the property has started to go down because now nobody is demanding. Fine. So this is something which is leading to China's crisis. Okay, moving to next article. Ridding India of food insecurity. Ridding India of food insecurity. Now, so this particular article will take up with respect to the GS paper number 3, food security. GS paper number 3, food security. Okay. Now, what the article is talking about? So basically, guys, the article is talking about the food insecurity challenges in India. So article says this thing, that today food price inflation is a very big problem in India. And when we talk about, guys, the food price inflation, according to State of Food Security and Nutrition in World report called as SOFI report, this report is released by the FAO, Food and Agriculture Organization. This report provides that 74% people in India, they are not able to afford a healthy diet. 74% people are not able to afford a healthy diet. Now guys, what is a healthy diet? A healthy diet is one which is balanced in micronutrients and macronutrients. For example, we need three macronutrients: carbohydrate, protein and fat, and we need 23 micronutrients, which includes minerals, vitamins, etc. So a balanced diet is one which will have a fair balance of all macro and micronutrients. And 74% people are not able to afford this diet. Around 1400 million people are not able to afford these diets. Okay, sorry, out of the 1400 million population, 1 billion people cannot afford this diet. And in fact, National Family Health Survey 5 also says 50% of the adult women, more than that, in fact, around 57% women, they are anemic. Anemia is because of the iron deficiency. So it shows that these women are not getting the healthy diet. Because of that, they have anemia, which is a food deficiency. Okay. Article says that even if you don't trust this data blindly, even if you say that 50% of people out of this total, the data that they have given, of that 50% people are not getting the healthy diet, then also 50% of 1 billion will become 500 million people. 500 million people. And this is larger than the population of all the countries of the world, just leaving China aside. Okay. Not all the countries combined, but individually. So many people are insecure. Hunger is a very big problem. And here it has been provided. Food inflation is making this problem even more worse. Now, central bank has tried to control inflation, food inflation, but largely they have not been able to be successful. So article says that we need to focus on increasing the yield of the land. We need to produce more food, because when more food will be there in the market, obviously the supply, when there will be more, the prices will cool down and people will be able to afford the healthy diets. So in 1960s, we came out with the green revolution. Okay. Now it has been said that as we talk about the present times, okay, so basically, when we talk about the green revolution in 1960s, successive droughts, okay, food insecurity, food challenges were a very big problem. And now we need a second green revolution, second agricultural revolution. Even today, guys, 60% of agricultural lands are rain fed. They don't have irrigation. In the East India, green revolution has not come. Productivity is very much low. Productivity is very much low. So, second agricultural revolution is needed. Now, it has been said this particular thing, guys, that cash transfer to farmer, distributing food through public distribution system, priority sector lending to agriculture sector has its limitation. You need to increase yield, you need to increase the productivity of the land. So let's say, guys, if we are producing 10 kg of rice, let's say, just a hypothetical example, we are, let's say, producing 10 kg of rice from 1 hectare of land. Then in South Korea, they are producing equivalent to 50 kg from that 1 hectare. So our productivity is less. And agricultural yield in India is one of the lowest in the entire East. Okay. So first focus on giving irrigation so that water availability is there. Small land holding problem is there. It is to be improved by doing by land leasing, capital investments, technological investments are to be done in land so that yield productivity increases, and by that food security challenges can be solved. Okay, that is about it. Then moving to next article. Kota Police Coaching Center join hands to help students address mental health issue. So basically, guys, recently we have seen that there was a very misfortunate incident that few students committed suicide in Kota. And as we talk about 2003 onwards only, find 23 students have committed suicides, which is a very big number. Since 2013, last 10 years, 23 students have committed suicides in Kota. Why? Because of the academic stress, academic pressure that the students are having to crack in the IITs. So basically, now what has happened, Kota Police, they have collaborated with the coaching institutes to provide assistance to those students who are facing distress, to provide them essential support, counseling, medical assistance. And for that particular thing, they are establishing dedicated specialized units, student cell, okay, where skilled counselors, psychotherapist, psychologists, psychiatrists will be there and will provide help to them. Moreover, they are also identifying that how early detection of stress can be done. Okay, and the students who are prone that they can take such extreme steps, they are trying to identify them. Okay, so this is something that they are doing. So here you can see that there is an element of empathy in governance. empathy in governance. You can use it as a case study. Then moving on, India's moment. Now, the article is saying that India has achieved a lot at G20. Many countries were suspecting that whether India will do it or not. I will not advise you to read this article. Rather, guys, yesterday I have taken in detail about all the key success from G20, a dedicated article where I covered Indian Express, Hindustan Times, and the Hindu, and some other articles also. If you have not seen it, I will advise you that. If you have seen it, no need to read any article on G20 after that. Then mains practice question for today. The question says, a shrinking ability of household to finance their food requirement is evident that India needs a second green revolution. Analyze. GS paper number 3, 10 marker question. So that is all, guys, about it. And with this, we come to an end to the today's session. Thank you so much, guys. Tomorrow we'll meet. And guys, if you have liked the video, please do hit like button. Please do hit like button. Please do leave your lovely comments, because that is the biggest motivation for us to continue this initiative. Thank you so much.